Hey everyone, welcome to Monday Musing. I think this is 34, 33, 34. I've got Lurking Luke with me again. Lurking to the left Luke, I think, is the hashtag we've settled on tonight. Luke's staying with me again for this week. You're down in the area working again, aren't you? So I've loaned out the guest bedroom.
Got my name on the door.
Got your name on the door. You're already sticking hobby stuff all over the place as well. So no, Monday Musings isn't going to be a two-man slot every week. It's just Luke's down for a couple of weeks. And you never know. We were talking about we might get another battle report in, which... Talking about battle reports, that's the theme of tonight's show. We've been working pretty hard on the channel to make some changes to battle reports. We've got some plans for the future. I was working on the studio over the weekend, and you know, we've had some successes, some fails, and somewhere in between. So I'm pretty excited about the changes and what we're going to do. But I wanted to put it out to the community as well, to see if you guys have got any amazing ideas or anything you're missing or anything you'd like us to cover on the channel. So yeah, that's the general jibe of it. I'm going to talk through some of the changes we've made, because I think we have made quite a few changes, and I'm not sure it's kind of obvious to everyone. Excuse me. I'm not sure it's obvious to everyone all the changes we've made, and even the last 4 or 5 battle reports, every single one of them has moved on from the one before. And I wanted to talk through kind of some of that evolution that we've gone through and the changes we made and why we made those changes. And there's even a format now, the latest format, I don't think has been seen online. No, it's not been seen online, the very latest format, but I'll be showing some screenshots today. But before we do any of that, so this is, I should say, this is a bit of a self-indulgent chat, because I've been working quite hard on the battle reports, and I just want to see what people have got from a feedback point of view. So it's going to be a bit of just a rambling 1-hour show. Luke joining in and annoying me, possibly stealing some of my sprues and sticking parts of my models onto me. Here we go, here we go. Oh mate, he's so annoyed. Right, okay. Let's catch up with the chat. Let's have a nice relaxing Monday musing this week. I'm going to slow the pace down, and we're just all going to feel our way through this Monday night as we all settle into the week and work out what we're going to do hobby wise between now and the weekend. So let's go through the chat. Coleman was in there nice and early and helping me test the chat and get the show set up. So thank you very much, Coleman. Thordelin joined us along as well, and we've also Joe Scoville was in early as well. Actually, in fact, I think we've got quite a crowd along tonight. So that Big Mac Dance Girl joined as well, and in between us all, we were kind of trying to come up for a hashtag for you. And you know, and we seem to have ended up with, is it Lingering Luke? I think, or is that where we ended up with? I think we ended up with Lingering Luke, because some of them, you know, leans into frame Luke. I quite like that one. So, but anyway, that was the debate of the chat for the first 10 minutes or so. Big Mac Dance Girls joined us. He's working hard on some terrain. Orc Boys is in there saying thinks his Gene Stealer Patriarch is finished. I'm pretty certain he's posted some of that up on the Facebook group, so check that out, because that's awesome. And he's doing the bit where you exercise judgment and leave it alone before you take it too far. If I remember rightly, oh boys, is that the one that's for the painting competition? I think it is. But let me know if I'm on the ball there. What else have we got? Rower in the chat. Baz Watkins is in there. Will Pollock is in there, and if I remember rightly, Will has just played an Age of Sigmar game, and he really hates Retributors and Star Drakes after that. I've played against Retributors. I've not come up against the Star Drake yet. Excuse me. I know that Matt Pink is working on the Star Drake as part of WGO Chronicles. Have you played him? You're not really an AOS guy, have you? Or no?
They're really tanky, you know, they don't put out that much damage.
They're really tanky, but they don't put out that much damage. Words of wisdom from Luke. I'm not sure Will Pollock agrees with you there, because he completely hates them.
Well, it depends if you got lots of like individual units, and they can slowly whittle like lots of you different units down. Right.
Okay. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out when Pink. I dare say Pink's after some revenge against you, isn't he? So you may be seeing that Star Drake. Ralph is in there. He's varnishing his bases for his corn dudes. I think again he's put some of that up on Chronicles. Not sure or not, but he's been doing a lava effect, annoyingly better than any of my lava effects. So thanks for that, Ralph. What else have we got? Al Kirkham is in there saying, hey. Chaos Sponge is in there saying, evening all. Great name, Chaos Sponge. I'm loving that. And DJ the Lucky One, who else is in there saying hi? Oh, crikey. Dr. Octopus. Oh, mate, we've not heard from you for a while. It's great to see you again. Scott's in there. Scott Bile saying hello. Matthew Edgeworth is in there as well. Hobby and WGO on a Monday. Great. Excellent. If you want to tell me what hobby you're doing on this this wonderful Monday evening as well, that would be cool. Because, you know, like I say, this is a fairly relaxed show. We've got a few things to go through, but I've certainly not got an hour's packed of content, and I'm happy to just have a look at what you guys are up to as well. Looter Luke, good hashtag for you there. Light fingered Luke, lurking in the shadows Luke from Will there. It started a new thing. We'll have to settle on one eventually, won't we, Luke, if you're going to keep hanging around here. Boy says yes it is, and like you, I'm colourblind. yeah. Purple blues, just not good for me. I told Luke tonight I'm changing my entire Tyranid army to match that terrain I did, so the whole thing needs to be made purple. Which I think the army, I thought they were purple to start with, but it turns out I've done them blue, so there you go.
How many Tyranids have you got painted like that?
7,000 points worth. Owen Jackson says, need a break from my tree lord, so building Namati? Fishy palette cleanser. Oh wait, is Namati one of the new Iden of Deepkin then? Because I'm not really close to that.
Yeah,
I'm
probably
going with fishy palette cleanser, you see. So that's cool though. To be honest, if you're painting a tree lord, you need a break from those about every 4 or 5 seconds. They're just an impossible model. But you know, they're still beautiful models, just impossible to handle and even harder to paint and handle. DJ the Lucky One painting 4 Castellon robots to battle standard for now. Awesome. I love those teddy bear robots. They're amazing. That is the Castellans, isn't it? Yeah. I've got 4 of those to paint at some point.
Some pretty decent upgrade kits just come out for them.
Forge World?
No, it's
third party. Oh, I've seen those cool heads.
Ones.
Those really cool heads.
And they have shoulder pads for them as well.
Okay.
Well, a bit like Castellax upgrades. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Ralph says, remind me in 20 minutes to put the matte varnish around the rims of the bases, please. I will do, mate, because that's what I'm here for. The live show is just about reminding you when to matte your bases up. Right, okay, then if you paint a tree lord, you need a break every 4 to 5 weeks. Right, let's get on to the subject. I think that's probably taken us, well, I normally ramble on for about 10 minutes and we're only 7 minutes into the chat, but that's okay. Let's take a look at some of the stuff I wanted to talk about. So, those of you who are big followers of the WargamerOnline.com, you will have noticed a surge of battle reports lately. That's good. We're nowhere near up to capacity because we're still only working on one studio for these at the moment. As I said, I was in the studio this weekend, and what I'm essentially doing is replicating the setup here, but in the luxurious space of the studio. So we've got more room for those of you who have seen it. There's bits where I'm presenting. There's going to be more room for the presenters, so we could maybe have a couple of people chatting while the game goes on. But the room itself, one thing I've noticed is because the light is so much better in that room, then the camera quality seems so much better in that room. So really pleased with it. I've still got some work to do there. We've still got the last camera. The final camera is on order now, so hopefully that will be with us by the end of this week. So I'm hoping by the end of the weekend we're in a position where the main studio for Battle Reports is up and running. So as soon as that happens, you're definitely going to be seeing more Battle Reports from us. Because we'll essentially have 2 studios up and running. The good news is the studio where I am now, which is you know, just in my hobby room, I can only really handle a 4x4 table. You could do a 6x4, couldn't you? You've seen the setup. We could do a 6x4, but you kind of run out of space in this place. So the last 2 foot of the table is really useful for kind of putting your armies on and the books and all the rest. Whereas the studio has got, you know, kind of much more space going for it. So the studio is going to be doing 6x4 table. I tested the camera today on an 8x4 setup as well, so we may even see some sort of 4-player, what was once called Apocalypse games. We might see some of the higher points games. But that's kind of going to be good, and that's partly what I want to talk about as well is, you know, what do we do on the 4x4 table versus what do we do on the 6x4 table? So, for instance, one of the ideas that I had is in this studio with a 4x4 table, you sometimes struggle to do much with 1,000 points. So why don't we in this studio move over to things like open play and narrative play and things like that, where the size of the gaming table is not so important because the armies aren't balanced and matched and those kind of things. And then in the main studio, then we're more to do sort of tournament style play. So we've got optimized lists of armies really trying to kill each other from minute one. So we're thinking maybe that's an idea. So again, looking for comments on that. But let's get back to the chat then. So what have we been working on? Well, as I said, there's quite a few up there at the moment. You can see here Tau Empire versus Grey Knights. That was the live battle report that Luke was on last Wednesday. That was pretty cool. The reason we've moved it over to Wargamer Online is Twitch only hosts videos for about, I think, 14 days now. And there's no real guarantee beyond that how long they'll host the video for. So we're going to pull the Twitch ones down and place them on Wargamer Online. We might not do it immediately because we want to build an audience on Twitch. So if you want to help support us, go check it out on Twitch, you know, and because the more audience we get on Twitch, the more Twitch will pay us attention and promote us more, and that's, you know, why we're doing this stuff on Twitch, to kind of reach an audience. We know there are people out there that watch Twitch that don't watch YouTube, and we know there are people out there that watch YouTube but don't watch Twitch, so we want to try and kind of reach a new audience. But at the same time, for all the people that are supporting us and coming through to the website, it seemed a good idea to be able to put you know, those Twitch ones onto the website so people can catch up on them there if they're not in, you know, into Twitch, or if they don't manage to catch them in that sort of 2-3 week period where they're on the Twitch channel. If they get taken down, we don't have to worry because they're on the website and available for everyone there. We've also got obviously the premium battle reports, and as you know, for those of you who saw the channel catch up, the idea is for us to increase the premium output. We're really going to focus on that. So in the last few weeks alone, I think there's been 4 or 5 or 6 battle reports. There's been tutorials going up there as well. Sam's done an awesome sort of Brayherd, is it Ungors or something like that tutorial. So really pushing on those, and that's because we've got a slight change in policy around the premium. They're going to be on there for sort of a, you know, at least I think it was like at least an 8-week period. I can't quite remember what we decided. It might have been a month, it may be longer. I think it might be 3 months. But anyway, somewhere in between that period, they're on premium for a while. And then what we might do is choose 1 or 2 of them and start pushing them over to YouTube to try and, again, obviously attract people through to the website so they can sign up to premium and support us so we can do more. So that's the kind of idea for the feed into the website. What it basically means is, I think for live battle reports, you'll probably see those go onto Twitch and then onto the website. I don't think we'll be doing many live battle reports on YouTube. We will do the odd special, but what we've found is if we've got a release where we're releasing some of the older battle reports to YouTube, or, you know, even if it's only 1 or 2 months old, but if we're releasing battle reports to YouTube, we've got product reviews, we've got interviews and all that kind of stuff going off on the channel. We're thinking that, you know, there's going to be battle reports, but as I said, release from premium. We're thinking there isn't really much space in the release schedule, probably for live battles. And Twitch generally is seen more as the live event thing, isn't it? So seems to be the right place for the live battle reports to go. As you said, don't worry if you're not a Twitch fan, because you'll still be able to catch up with them on the website. And also it means some of those old Twitch ones might still end up on YouTube at some point anyway. But for us, it's kind of just, I think, just a little bit of focus about where we're putting that content. So that's what we're trying to do with all of that. I wanted to talk a little bit about the structure and what we've been doing. But before we do that, let's have a little jump back into the chat and see what's going off, because I can see a few WargamerOnline tags here. I did say as well on the Facebook group that if you watch these videos week in and week out, and I know there's a bunch of you do come back, and I really appreciate that. It does make this whole thing seem worthwhile when a whole bunch of you show up week after week and keep supporting me and make me laugh and give us all of a chuckle and come up with hashtags for Luke and all the rest. So thank you for that. But I did say if you've not commented before, then give a shout out this week and I will try and spot your name. But remember to do the @WargamerOnline, because it really helps me spot you. So please don't be offended if I miss your name, because there's a big list scrolling past sort of thing. But at the same time, if you do a big @WargamerOnline, then it helps you stand out from the crowd as well. So anyway, let's just catch up on the chat. Oh, where were we? So, that was Ortboy saying, yes, indeed, that was his model that he's working on. DJ, the lucky one, talking about his Castellan, so I'm afraid that it's jumped a little bit. There we go. Al Kirkham saying, I can't spell today. Monday, can't trust that day. There's nothing wrong with Mondays, it's awesome. But Al, thank you for joining us. Owen Jackson says, was questioning my hobby dedication whilst tackling the Tree Lord. Glad to hear it's not just me who found him a challenge. Oh, they're mind-bending, those things. I did the majority of the paint scheme with airbrush, and I think that really helped because I wasn't having to make contact with the model. You know, you're not having to kind of paint each one of those little tiny sticks and all the rest. It was kind of done. But I was doing a huge amount of masking, and what I found is even if I was doing temporary masks with like tissue and paper and stuff like that and bits of, you know, torn rubber glove to mask, even that was just pulling the odd spike off. It was, yeah, they're hard work. So no, good luck to you. Scott says, working on painting my new Mad Max theme army. What models are you using for the Mad Max theme army? I'm definitely going to be using the new Necromunda dudes.
Is that what they're called? Veras.
Vostros. Oh, somebody say in the chat what they're actually called. I should know, really, shouldn't I?
They look awesome.
Definitely going to be using those to create my Asta Militarum contingent for my Gene Stealer cult. But they are going to be done as Astra Militarum, so I can have like 1,000-point Astra Militarum, but I can also add them to my Gene Stealer cult. They're just amazing. And I think they look like a kind of, I could do a cool planetary defense force with them.
Convert them like crazy as well.
Yeah, great models anyway. Right, okay. Will says, I played Sylvaneth once, never again. Do you mean you played against them, or you actually played the models themselves?
They're not that bad.
With Sylvaneth?
I think they're pretty weak at the minute.
I think it depends how people play them, though. It depends whether you're prepared to put 12 of those woods down. You know what I mean? You can play them filthy. And Patrick, well, you know, I had 30 units, 30 dryads in units, and I was just like daisy chaining them all over the table to get all the bonuses, and it's horrible. You can play them horribly. You don't have to, but you can do. So I get that. But I know what you mean. They're not the powerhouse they used to be in Age of Sigmar, are they?
No.
Kablam says, hi all. Orc boys saying hello. You seen the Orlocks? Oh, Orlocks, very bad, Max. Yes, it's not Orlocks we're talking about, though. It's the latest one, isn't it? Orc boys says evening. Ralph says evening to Kablams. Ashikus the Muse says Triumph and Treachery, awesome multiplayer Age of Sigmar. Ooh, okay. I've not tried that yet, actually. Roby says, howdy folks, howdy. Will Pollock, woo, Tau. What else have we got going off? Al Kirkham says, Phil, I just got the battle report on my email and it looks great. Thank you very much. You know what was really nice about that email? They're like scheduled emails that go out that tell people what content was. And there was like 2 battle reports and a painting tutorial. And that's all premium. So it was awesome. It was cool. It's good to see that content flowing. And like I say, we are in a position where we can do more. We've still got some stuff to tweak before we're really, really happy with it. But we're getting there.
Lucky Luke.
Lucky Luke. Lucky Luke. Okay, Ralph. Ralph says, as long as you don't move your musing to Twitch, I am fine. Ralph, we know you can't see Twitch. I'm aware of that. And no, the musing won't move to Twitch. I think it's more just the online, the live gaming stuff. It seems to make sense. You know, as I said, that's as much about trying to find a new audience and attract more people over to the website. We can't just rely on YouTube alone as a feed for people to come through to the website. As you know, we do the Facebook stuff, we do some of the other social channels as well, but we've pretty much ignored Twitch for probably about 6 months. So I think we're at least going to give it 3 or 4 months and see how it goes, see if we build an audience.
Vansar are the...
Vansar, yes, thank you very much for whoever did that. That's Baz. Thank you very much, Baz Watkins. What else have we got in the chat then? Maester R. First time for me. Hey everyone. Awesome. Great to meet you on the chat. Thank you. And I hope I got your name right. Is that right? Maester R? It looks like Maester, doesn't it, as well? You have to excuse me. My eyes are getting worse. I think I need new glasses. Will says, the musing is the only thing that gets me through Mondays. I have really crappy subjects at school on a Monday. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Will. You know, Jack came home from school today, and this morning I dropped him off at school and he went, oh, it's a good day today. It's a really good subjects. I'm pretty happy. And picked him up and he looked miserable. And he had a really dull day, even in his favourite subjects today. So,
Is it Maester?
I don't know. Who maybe we could be corrected at some point. But anyway, yes, I'm glad that we cheer up your Sundays. Sundays? Cheer up your Mondays, anyway. Ralph says, for Luke, there is only one hashtag, really. Lucky Luke. There you go. Will says, oh no, we've covered that one. Matthew says, Matthew Edwards, working on Chronicles, Sylvaneth, Admech, and Knight Armigers. And getting my forum posts upgraded and shuddering at everyone's anger at the tree man. Vansar, thank you very much. Will, no, not a house or a lot, but thank you. Roby says, been going through your Age of Sigmar Batreps on the website, starting a Seraphon army for the big lizard, so thanks for the inspiration. Also, bolt action works well on 4x4 too. Well, we'll see about that. As we know, or as you probably know if you've watched the channel update, really, we're going to focus on Age of Sigmar and 40k, and where possible, related products. So, you know, trying to get a bit of Necromunda in there, or a bit of Blood Bowl, or something like that. But for us to take on bolt action, it might be something that as Mike gets revved up and stuff, maybe Mike and Sam might do it, but there's no promises there. I think we know where our focus is. You never know. It might happen. Certainly it's a possibility with the studio that if I can get 2 of the local club players that play bolt action, there's nothing wrong with us doing a live bolt action game or 2, you know, because that's just me managing the edit desk, and that's what's really cool about this new setup. You know, we could certainly do a couple of bits like that if we can find the time to squeeze it in with the local club players, because there are a few guys in there that do play bolt action, and they've got some great looking armies, I have to say. Scott says, I'm going to be using all the Necromunda minis as different units, using the Orc rules. Great idea, Scott. Awesome, man. Martin Hogman, hiyo, just doing advanced leaf work for my new Dryads. Oh, what? Hey, Martin, good luck with that. Elster Nation is in there. Hey, Elster Nation. I've got to try and mention you less, you told me. There was a show I did a bit back where I think I mentioned you every second sentence, so... but, you know, you deserve it. You know, you're prolific painters, so you deserve mentioning when I'm talking about getting your army painted. How is everyone? I'm good. Will says double maths make me hate this. Right, Will's got to go. He's got to go. So, bye, Will. Right, what else are we going to talk about? Oh, well, let's talk about some of the structure then that we've got in the Batreps and what we've been trying to do. So what I've got is I've got some screenshots here from recent battle reports that we've done up. So this was the live show we did the other night. This was Tau versus Grey Knights. I'm hoping you can see my cursor. I think you can. So obviously on this side, this is the new zoom cam. And that isn't the maximum it can zoom in, but I don't think it's far off. Bear in mind that's the far end of the table. So when you're at the closer end of the table, we can get closer into the models as well. One of the things that, like I say, I've noticed in the studio is the lighting's better. And also I've managed to improve the quality of this, but I've still got some work to do on getting, I think, this camera right. We've got the dice cam. I've improved the dice cam. Patrick was brilliant. He bought me a dice tray with the WGO logo on. I have to say, Patrick, if you're watching, I have pulled it to pieces and used the WGO in a heavier tray. Now, the tray was brilliant for dice. I'm not, you know, the tray themselves are absolutely fantastic, but I needed something heavier so the camera didn't get knocked about. So I've changed the dice tray, and actually what I've done is use one of the old dice trays from the studio, because the studio, and I'll explain this later, is going down to a single dice tray that both players use. And again, that's just really about speeding up the edit process, so we haven't got quite as many cameras to cut to. So the fact that we're taking 2 of the dice trays out of the studio meant I could use one for here and one for the studio as well. And I think the good news is it makes them consistent, and that's the really thing I'm trying to do. Is hopefully you'll get to a point where, you know, hopefully you won't really notice which studio it's being filmed in. Really, that's what I'm trying to get to in terms of the setup. The other big thing we've released recently is on the last view, you'll notice this nice little interactive scoreboard here. So I've messed around with some custom software and configured some custom software, and even wrote a bit of old XML. How about that? Which means now that all of this automatically updates. So we've got a little interface where we update the scores, and actually you update the army names and everything, and all of that just updates now. So obviously that's configured for Age of Sigmar. Can you still go to 6th and 7th turn in 40k? I think you can. I think there are some. The 6th turn, isn't there? So I will have to do a 40k one, because this has been done for 5 turns. So I might have to squeeze all of this up. There's room for it, and I'll show a different configuration of this anyway later on.
It's not bad leaving that for like 1,000-point games.
Yeah, yeah, for 5, because you pretty much 5. I mean, and that's what we said, isn't it? You know, even though the scenario says it could go on to a 6th turn, we'll call it at 5 because it makes sense. You're on a live show, you don't want the show to go on for 4 hours. People will just, you know, lose their minds. Yeah. You know, here's the powerhouse here. Look at the thickness of these arms; they're pretty impressive. Right. So, from a camera point of view, this was one of the changes. I've reduced down the amount of. We had like player cams, which were cutting from one angle to the other, and it was Sam actually who said he didn't think those player cams were adding much to the battle report. You want to really see what's happening on the table. You don't necessarily need to see hours of footage of the players themselves. So I widened the angle of the isometric cam. So we've still got this isometric view. You can still see what's going off on the table. We've got the map view to help you translate that into distances. I do think that map view's really good for understanding the layout. When you can see a model there and you're trying to work out how close is it, how close is that mark, you know, how close is the objective marker to the terrain piece. You know, this gives you like a real true sense of it. So that's the standard view that most of you will recognise from some of our older battle reports, basically.
Looks like Red Alert, that. That view.
Oh, that, yeah, yeah. You know what? I did think about like a green sort of filter over it or something like that, but it doesn't make sense. You want it to kind of, you want to be able to see it, don't you, really? Okay, this is the zoom camera again, and again, just sort of showing you how, you know, combined with a map cam, we can see the 3 guys there, we can see them stood over there, you can see the tower units here, you can see them there, and then obviously the guard there, the Dread Knight there, so it's giving you those positions. And what we're doing there is just overlaying the turn counter over the map, just briefly, so you can kind of see the score. That's showing which active turn is. We highlight who is active. We also active what turn it's on. So the idea of that is that's Tau Empire turn 3. That's what
high scoring game.
It was a high scoring game, wasn't it? I don't think I'd give away this battle report, by the way. So you know, we should be cool. We should be cool. Or at least Grey Knight scored 1 in turn 1, didn't they? As updated. This is the other view then. This is taking that map cam and essentially putting it over to, you know, as much as you can on full screen. Any higher than that, and I'm busting the resolution really. So you don't gain a lot from it by making it any bigger anyway. But I think it's quite nice to have this close-up view with a map cam. These are the views that I was saying we actually don't have anymore. We've reduced this down, and I'll explain a little bit more about that coming up, but as you can see, it's Grey Knights turn 2. Again, I just wanted to kind of explain what's been going through our heads and what we're trying to do, really. This is actually one of the earlier ones, so you can see, again, the whole map cam and the layout, but this was an example of what I was saying. You know, we introduced the player cams because the ISO cam was a lot closer and you couldn't see the players. But if I go back to that view, as you can see now, you can actually see the players. And I don't think you lose too much anyway. Bear in mind that we've got the zoom cam for the close-ups of the action anyway. So the isometric cam is more about what's going off on the game as a whole and the interaction between the players. The zoom cam gives you those close-up of any battles or any shooting that takes place. And then the map cam gives you that sort of view of what's happening strategically across the board, I think is the idea. One of the things I'm going to be introducing is we're going to be introducing markers and highlights. So we'll have like, you know, little orange blobs, you know, really highlighting where the objectives are. I've even been experimenting with things like, you know, if it's like a 6-inch bubble to capture it, of being able to turn those bubbles on and off so you can see whether models are getting close to the 6-inch and things like that. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see whether it adds anything. But I certainly think making the objectives stick out a little bit more, so it's a bit more obvious where they are and stuff.
Could do that for warlord traits. Say I'm activating my warlord trait and it's like a 6-inch bubble.
And you get like a flame. Like,
everyone charge!
That might be a bit much, Whirling. That might be a bit much. At least with the objectives, you kind of set those blobs up at the start of the game and then it's off. One of the things I did think is on this, we could actually show deployment zone. You know, again, that's an overlay we could bring up or something like that. I've experimented with it, and in fact, on one of the Batreps on the website, one of the premium Batreps, I think if I remember rightly, it might be the Fire Slayers versus Death. I think I actually do show the deployment zones as they're setting up. Right, okay, this was one of the earlier versions of the scorecard. This was before it was automated, so again, I'm just sort of showing, you know, what that zoom cam is looking like. I've managed to sharpen the image up a bit since those, and that was to do with sort of lighting on the camera and also stopping some side light creeping in the lens, so I've managed to sharpen those up, so I was pretty pleased with that. This is one of the other views that I think for now we'll keep, but I'm not quite sure for how long. I'd like to do something better with this. You know, this at the moment I'm taking screenshots from War Scroll Builder showing the army list. I think it's kind of useful though. There's a lot of information on there. It just doesn't look amazing, but there's a lot of information. The other problem we have is there's no real equivalent, as we found, for 40k. I think we used Quartermaster to create the list last time, didn't we? And
yeah, it was all right.
I mean, I'm a fan of Quartermaster, but it's just the output isn't quite right for our purposes. I'm thinking maybe of creating this as actual text, because we can handle text inside the software, so maybe we copy paste this text in, but as I said to you, it's challenging because it's difficult to format. But needless to say, maybe that's something we can do. So that's something I want to improve, is how armies are shown. And then, oh look, what is that amazing thing there? Look, that amazing beard. This was I can't remember. I think I just wanted to show me. There's me. This is one of the things in the studio. This will be better because actually the presenter, if you like, for want of a better word, in this seat here is in a different position and is able to see the table as well. Whereas, you know, everything's going off behind me here because it's the only way I could lay the room out. So I think that will be greatly improved as well. Right. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, here's a couple of things as well that we were trying out over the weekend. This wonderful chap, Paul, here, came over and wanted to film a how to play demo of Full Moon Jacket, which is a game that went up on Kickstarter recently. It's completed, but now they're wrapping it up for retail sale. So came over and did an introduction game with Mark, and I did all the camera work, and we did this is a scene from one of the bits. And the reason I'm showing this is besides the fact that we were surprisingly lookalikes, there's not a lot of hair and there's quite a bit of beard. We did comment there's a lot of beard and no hair on that film.
Great beard there.
It's weird, isn't it? My hair just doesn't show up at some angles. Look, you can see it now. There is hair there.
That's some like hair grower.
Do you think it's some thickener
buff
or
it out
something
a bit.
like that? I don't know. I'll just trim my beard off and stick it up there. But what was this about? This is, you know, as I said in one of the earlier ones, we've dropped, if I can find it quickly, we've dropped these two angles, but I have taken one camera to the studio and retained one camera here for these kind of introductions. So there may well be some battle reports where, you know, I've shown the ones where I'm sat in this seat, etc., that we don't really have those people doing anything. It's just a question of doing the editorial work. And it could be presented, and introductions to the battle can be done from this camera. So, and I think certainly when the game starts and when the game finishes, you know, you get both players around one side of the table and they can talk to camera and those kind of things. By the way, it's a cool game and you'll probably see more of that at some point. So this was the again, the isometric view. We're showing the sort of camera, and again, this is an example how the scorecard system I've built is configurable. So this game has got actually 18 turns. 9 of they go fast though. It's like sort of a fast you know, board game. But there's 9 turns at dusk, and then dusk turns into night. When dusk goes into night, the werewolves get a lot more dangerous. You also know This particular scenario is all about trying to get an injured colonel out of the jungle, basically. So you've got to get to the chopper, which you have to do at turn 9. It's awesome. So at turn 9, you know where the chopper's coming, and then you've got 9 turns to get, you know, from here to the other side of the table for when the chopper comes in and stuff like that. But really, all I'm showing is, again, you know, using things like the dice tray. We were showing things like the cards, so I think we could use that for, you know, when you draw cards for objectives, we can just drop it in, and it's legible. You don't see everything, but it's kind of legible. I worked on a view which I've not shown here actually. I worked on a secondary view where I zoomed in on the center of the dice tray, so we were putting cards on and reviewing those. Yeah, it's a shame actually I've not shown that one, but we were zooming in on the cards, so you could actually read the writing on the cards as well, so I think that was working. I mean, this was quite you could see there was a lot going off here, and I've not really shown any of the zoom stuff, but you get the idea, you know, the character cards laid out and those kind of things. I think what was interesting about this is it didn't take long to set up. I'm not talking about just this game in particular, but things like, you know, Gore-Tide and, you know, stuff like that. We can just do a night, a Shadespire, you know, just do a night, play a couple of games, you know, maybe just put it up on Twitch or whatever. But, you know, it's stuff that doesn't take a long time to do, but the setup seems to work really well. So, what's going off? What are the changes? I've got some more work to do to the counter. One of the big changes we've made is I've really dug into the technology behind both the cameras and the software, and I've managed to greatly improve the frame rate. So one of the things we were having was sort of dropping frames and stuff like that. We had one of the battle reports that's actually on WargamerOnline on the website. It's got a little notice at the beginning saying I think there's 2 or 3 segments where the video basically paused for about 20 seconds, but the audio continued, so you can still hear what's going off in the game. You know, some guy goes, I'm going to roll 5 dice, oh, I got 2 6s, you know, but you just can't see it because the video sort of stuck for a little bit. I've left it up there because I don't think it spoiled the overall you know, what was happening in the game. But I've killed that as far as I can tell. Did a 2-hour stream test last night. Everything was perfect. It ran at 30 frames per second throughout the whole show, so pretty happy with that.
Proper test maybe Wednesday.
Proper test on Wednesday. Let's do it. That's what Wednesday has to be about. Okay, right. So you know, sorting out the scoreboard sorted, sorting out the camera and the frame rate is sorted. I've got to sort out the layout for let's just have a quick look at that one. The layout for the studio, obviously the map is going to be 6x4, so already, you know, the question is do I split the map in 2 or do I show a 6x? What I was thinking is I'll probably show the 6x4 map with the score at the top, and then, like, you know, cut to dice and stuff like that, just overlay it as we've done before, sort of thing. So I've got some experimentation to do with that, but it's looking cool. I'm really pleased with it. Right, okay. What I'd really like to know then, if I jump along to here, is what's going off in the chat and what people are saying basically, and if they've got any feedback from the battle reports they've seen, any ideas, we'd really appreciate it. Oh, right, okay. Matthew says I'll be playing with Idenef, so water to put out the fire. Yeah, for anybody who saw my post on Facebook, the Idenef Deepkin, yeah, if I had like 7 hands, maybe 8 hands, I'd have 2 of those hands permanently working on one of those armies, I think. I just so
it's a nice army,
I've got too many armies to do, but
it's a nice army.
I just, though, it's the sea creatures more than anything. I just want to paint those really cool funky sea creatures. Right, okay, where were we?
The turtle's really nice.
Oh, right. Ian Stanford needs some explosion. I'm not quite sure what all that chat is about. Maybe that's something internally. Fordham says it's nice and clean. The army list, no distractions for people like me who try to understand how the army is built. Okay, we could try and stick with that then. Like I say, though, the problem is it doesn't work for 40k. Robe says, have you tried Battlescribe? I installed Battlescribe. Luke did tell me Battlescribe does work. It was in like the 20 minutes before we were trying to set up the show, and I just went, I can't do this. I can't learn a new piece of software in like 4 seconds, and we just abandoned it. So I'll do some investigation into Battlescribe. The issue we've got with 40k is I know that the army listing software isn't right. I can't remember the name of it now. Army Builder. I know it isn't 100% perfect, but at least it's on Games Workshop's website. So you go, well, there's a mistake, and it's a mistake they made. You go to Quartermaster. All the points are wrong for Eldar, and I've updated them all, but you know they were wrong because they've not reflected the updates. And
it's
I think
community built, isn't it? That's
yeah,
why.
exactly. And Battlescribe is similar, isn't it? Then the points, I hear a lot of people saying the points are wrong on Battlescribe a lot of the time, or is that wrong?
I think they're better.
They're better.
They update it a lot.
Right.
Quicker.
Okay. So they update it quicker. And
It's
again,
just
that's.
the
I mean, you know what it's like. You only ever hear when people complain about something online. So that's probably what I've just heard. But so if it's updated quicker, maybe it is worth looking at. But certainly we noticed. I just didn't have time to set it up. We'll have to do it, and we'll see whether we can keep that layout cool. Al says, Al Kirkham's in saying, evening Ian. Good evening Ian. Ant Evans says, battle reports look superb. Thank you very much, Ant. That's greatly appreciated. Ian Stanford says, 10 minutes till home time. Ian Stanford also says, it's based in Vietnam. Yes, indeed, that game was based in Vietnam. And Dog Soldiers versus meets Vietnam is probably a close analogy, actually. They were saying about... hold on a second. Why don't I get that back up then, seeing as though we're on the subject? It was somewhere over here, wasn't it? There you go. Full moon jacket. So I think you get the idea from that image, basically. You know, I love the fact, by the way, there was a broad range of characters in there. You've got the Vietnamese in there as well. One of the characters was, I think she was a sniper. She was just awesome. There's some... the models are insane as well. But yes, it's Vietnam War. Werewolves start coming out of all the little tunnels, and you're trying to get out of the jungle. It's like Predator. It's got to get to the chopper moment, but it's like Predator, as in you got to survive. It's like Zombicide, as in there's just a horde heading towards you. But you're right. Dog Soldier meets Vietnam War. Awesome stuff. Anyway, right. I really enjoyed it. It was actually good fun, and the guys were brilliant as well. They were good fun while they were doing their test game. Oh, right, what else have we got? Oh, dear me, it's all jumped. The chat has jumped again. I might have to try that. Dog Soldiers in classic film. Oh, boys, I'm only guessing, but it looks like it. Yes, you're right. Bunch of people talking to each other. C. Mawson says, as I'm learning bolt action, I'd be interested in the odd bat rep of it. Though I agree you should mostly stick to your focus on 40k and AOS. Like I say, I think it's certainly the new studio layout lends itself to being able to do more. I think the only thing is, and you found this was your first battle report on Wednesday. Wasn't as easy as you think, is it?
No.
Because you were saying, was that okay? And I was saying, yeah, it was good. But, you learn, silence is really bad when you're on a battle report. So you can't stand there for 10 minutes stroking your chin going, what shall I do? Because it's like, you can do that if it's an offline one, because you can kind of edit that out. Yeah. But when you're live, it's like, you've got to kind of almost constantly say what you're thinking. So people know what you're thinking, sort of thing. But then inadvertently, of course, that kind of gives it away to your opponent. I don't want to go there because he might use that against me. I'm going to go here and hope that he doesn't notice. You can't really do that, can you? But
when it's tournaments all the time, you always have to have a whole plan of the whole game in your head before you even start. So
and that's what made me chuckle. That's what makes me chuckle, because you're really thinking about what to do next. And in most of the battle reports, you spend a lot less time doing that because you're conscious of just keeping it moving forward. But I do think there's room, like I say, if it's recorded, I think that's okay. You can kind of slow the pace down. But on the live shows, it's like, keep talking and show everything. You can't just say, I'm going to sit and have a think about this for 10 minutes, Anyway, but yeah, they're not as easy as you think. And the reason I was saying that is it's okay to say, well, let's get a couple of bolt action players in and just record them playing a game. But that doesn't necessarily make for good viewing, if you know what I mean. You'll see the game being played, but if neither of those players have got any experience in doing bat reps, there's lots of things that miss out. And just little things that you have to habitually remind yourself. You can't say, I'm going to shoot him at him. It's got to be... I'm shooting the Eldar, I'm shooting the Eldar Autarch at your unit of, you know, whatever, because you've got to kind of, you know, help illustrate what's happening to the audience as well. And you can't just get two people and say, hey, thanks for helping out, but that wasn't really very good. You know, you've got to kind of work with them. But we'll do our best. We'll see. I mean, the good news is, like I say, we are in a place where we can do more, and if we can do more and we can do it quicker, then that means we can afford to experiment more. DJ the Lucky One says, love the layout, prefer the isometric on the main screen more, and like the plan view on the side. Well done, Phil. Thank you very much. That's really useful to know. I mean, Sam was funny. He told me off the other night. He was saying I was switching the camera too often. And I think it is when you're sat here at the desk, you're like, oh, got to keep it moving. You know, and actually you don't. You know, leave the isometric on for most of the time. Cut to the close-ups every now and then. You know, cut to, you know, the map cam every now and then. But, you know, I think I need to just calm down on the camera switching. Because I was like, there's one literally, it's like a kaleidoscope. I'm like, and the scenes are just like swapping every 20 milliseconds. You know, it's like a strobe show. I think I gave Sam a seizure. It's just, he was on the floor twitching, bless him. Okay, but at least he was quite funny as well. He tried to be polite. He went, Phil, you know, it was really awful. I was like, oh, okay, Sam, I'll not do that again. What have we got? Kevin Pedrick. How about using some bright foam rings, those toy guns, to highlight objective markers? Oh yeah, you could do, couldn't you? Just actually put them on the table just so they're a bit brighter. It's not a bad idea. I don't know what you mean by those toy guns though, but I get your idea. The sort of foam ring stuff. Just some bright, yeah, we could do that. And that's probably easier than setting up software, but we'll see. Ralph, agreeing with Sam, but Ralph always agrees with Sam. He's a Sam, like, reinforcer. That's his job. So Reaper says, fear not, loyal citizens, the chosen is here. So Reaper has joined the chat. Thank you very much, Reaper. And what have I got up on? You know what? I thought we had that up on screen, and I don't think I did. Did I show that? It doesn't really matter. Right, okay then. So while those guys are saying hello to each other, let's talk a little bit about the releases. We've got about 15 minutes left. Maybe it's worth talking a little bit about what's been going up on the website anyway. It might be worth just having a look at what's gone up on Battle Reports. Why not? Let's do that. So we had Tau versus Empire. Like I say, that was a 1,000 point game.
Grey Knights.
Oh, did I say Empire? Tau. Tau Empire.
Because you saw Empire.
Yeah. I know. No. How a good crossover game, wouldn't it? You could do that. Tau Empire versus Grey Knights. That was the Twitch show from the other night. That was 1,000 points. And as I say, this is the great thing about when I know the studio is up and running, we can get back to some of the larger games on the 6x4, because I think that's going to make a big difference. We had Fire Slayers versus Death go up on Premium. That was Jack and Steve. Jack was playing my Fire Slayers, and that's because at the moment, because I'm still chopping and changing the software around, I'm not really happy about letting anybody operate the software, and that's, there's no point training them and like going through this is how it's set up if 10 seconds later I change it again, which is what's happening at the moment. Every single battle report's changing. I think when the studio's up and running and both are set up, I'm going to be pretty happy, I think, and then we can kind of get some more people at the desk, in which case you might see me in front of the camera once or twice as well, which would be pretty cool, because I really want to play my Fire Slayers on a battle
some bearded dwarves around.
Well, you know, Jack did a good job with them, but he literally read the battle tome 20 minutes before the game. He was like, all right, that's interesting. And then he was like, right, okay, let's go. And he kind of fell for all the stuff I fell for in the first 10 games I had with Fire Slayers, which is pop up. Oh no, I didn't want to pop up right now and then just get decimated. So, you know, saying that, he did really well. It was quite a close game, and we'll see. But, you know, he was learning it for the first time, so I really want to get my Fire Slayers played. And you know what? Steve's death list on that as well is a really good list. There was none of the crazy big stuff. You know, it was just like Vampire Lord. No Mongol. Vampire Lord. Couple of are they necromancers or something like that, whatever their wizard equivalents are.
Yeah,
necromancers, is it? A unit of 20 skellybobs, a unit of 30 zombies. That might have been it. I think that was his 1,000 points. It was just a really nice list, and a bunch of grave markers everywhere and all that kind of stuff. I don't know whether they pay for that or not. But it was a nice list. It was a really cool look. You know, like as an army, it looked like an undead army. There was just hordes of undead everywhere.
Vampire summoning his
That's
army.
what looked cool. Yeah, it looked really cool. We've also got Brayherd versus Skaven. That's the return of the Mike. Magic Mike was back with his Skaven. It's great to see those big blue-headed guys back. Look, wonderfully buff muscles for a Skaven dude. So he was back on a premium. Little legs, little tiny legs. I think that's the camera angle. I think that's the camera angle. So yeah, those guys were back. It's a battle report full of extreme levels of salt. It's really funny.
Is that Potbelly Sam?
That's the that's the award. Do you know that won an award? That's an award winning. He got the tournament. He got the best painted like single model or something like that. Which was you know, it was a good job. It was a good job because I think it kicked off. If
green stuff.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, he built the whole belly up and the belly hair.
Face
and all
resemblance. Really well.
Don't you start causing trouble with Sam. He might watch this. You know what? He sometimes watches my Monday music. I think I'm getting away with this stuff, and then he watches it and goes, "Oh, Phil, yeah, thanks." Right, okay. We also had what? Well, we're going back to some of the earlier ones now. So these chat reps, as we called them, which was kind of a bit online-y, you know. And again, this was just changing the format. I don't think we're going to call them chat reps anymore. I think you get the idea. The live ones do have a bit of chat. I don't think we need a cool name for them, but so we had Sylvaneth versus Maggot King, which was a pretty good game actually. That was Liam and Mark, and again it was Mark's first bat rep as well, if I remember rightly. No, it wasn't actually. Mark had played. Actually, he played with his Gutbusters only the week before, so yeah, that was pretty cool as well. Stormcast Eternals versus Gutbusters. And then we're into, I think this was one of the very first live ones. So this was the Blood Ravens.
Who's Blood Ravens?
Liam's Blood Ravens. Ah. Liam had an interesting time with his dice that day, and he was up against Jack, and we all know how Jack rolls. If anybody's seen Jack's 5 attacks from Guardsman against an Eldar Warwalker, I took a picture of the dice roll, 5 6s. 5 6s.
That's standard roll.
It's just a standard roll for Jack. He's just like, yeah. It's just, oh man. It was minus. I should have mentioned he was -1 to hit against me as well, because I'd used one of my command points to try and keep it alive. So it's just, of course you roll 5 6s. Of course you do, Jack. Yeah. Prior to that, then we're into things like Flesh Eater Courts versus Sylvaneth, which I think that's where we were trying the new format out here. So that's one of the earliest ones with that. And then prior to that, this was the Zeech stuff was when Patrick came to visit. So that was the last. If I say the old format, the format of the two looks very similar. It was just the technology we used to make it happen, basically.
Slowly tweaks and improvements.
Right, okay, so yeah, that's what's been going off there. Oh dear me, it looks like somebody's saying naughty things on the chat, but let's not worry about it. They're getting deleted now anyway. Ralph, questions in front of Phil's. These are questions a little bit better on the chat. Oh, at Ant Heavens. Ask questions with at in front of the Wargamer Online. So does that mean Ant is... if you're looking for new players, how do you apply? There is a contact us form on the website, actually. And that's one thing I haven't mentioned. So Ant, good call, mate. Because I absolutely forgot to mention... if you go to the bottom of here, somewhere down here, right at the bottom, look at all these wonderful battle reports, by the way. If you've not signed up to Premium, do so. There's a contact us. There's an Ask WGO. To be honest, you could use either of those. I think if you go to the Ask WGO, you can actually fill a little form out and say, hey, this is the area I'm in. I'm available for battle reports. This is the army. Oh, you need to be... Sorry, on that one, you need to be logged in. I need to... In fact, you shouldn't be logged in for the contact reporters, so I will sort that out. But anyway, you can get through to the Ask WGO and contact us. I'm going to have to check that out, actually. And send us a message. All contact us through Facebook. All contact us through the messaging inside the forum as well. So if you've gone over to the forum, inside the forum, there is a private message function. You will find me under WGO Phil. Drop me a message on the forum. That's absolutely cool. So I think somewhere in here, look. Oh, I'm not logged in. That's why. I logged myself out. So anyway, let's not do that, shall we? So yeah, go along to the forum. There's a message service inside the forum. Why did it log me out? Anyway, it doesn't really matter. And yeah, get in touch, because that's one of the things we didn't talk about. We didn't talk about the fact that with this setup, we can have, you know, somebody manning the edit desk, somebody from WGO leading the battle report, because obviously you've got the experience and you know to drive it forward and keep the chat going and stuff. And then we can have some guests come in, and that's the good news, really. We can have more and more guests, which we've been wanted to do right from the start of the channel. So it's really nice to be in a position where we're only weeks away from doing that. So thanks for that, Ant. Right, okay then. There's a bit of a wow from Greeper. Not quite sure what's going off there. You got a ban hammer. Somebody's been banned. I won't know what any of that says because I've missed it now.
That's why I've come.
Right, consider yourself officially hammered. There you go. Somebody's been banned from the chat. We've not had somebody banned from the chat for a long time, so that's refreshing, isn't it? Really, but you know, thanks for taking part. Right, Reaper says needs to finish his army first. Don't we all? And there's a bunch of chat. Enough, get done at least. Right, I've no idea what happened there, but thank you to Ralph for being the hammer with the most hammers, for keeping that out, so that's cool. Oh right, sorry, there is a comment here which I'd missed, so let's just go back up there. And in fact Ralph had already said send a message on the forum. There you go. The Pizzario, keep up the low point level games, makes them easier to follow, and also maybe go through what boxes it takes to get that army on the table purchase wise. Oh, I'm going to copy paste that comment.
That's a good one.
Thank you very much. That's a really cool idea. We
I like
do
small
put
games as well.
I mean, I enjoy small games. One of the things I like about I considered for the small games as well is, you know, the kind I was saying here, the studio would be like the competitive lists where you're seeing the units that you put on the table to win. It doesn't have to be, by the way. I'm just sort of saying that's kind of because it's got the 6 before table. That's your tournament setup. That's, you know, you don't see 4 before tournament games, do you? It's all at that size. I think on this kind of format, it can be smaller games, but we can also just put those units on you never see because we know they're not optimized. And maybe that's why I meant, you know, the kind of open play. It's kind of agreeing at the start. Neither of us are going to bring any filth. So you play Mechanicum, don't you, or in 40k? No, well you kind of do though. Well, no, you had Grey Knights, but you've got a Mechanicum list, haven't you? Or is that mainly 30k? That's
30k.
Okay. So it's probably hard to say with Grey Knights, but you know you could pick those units that don't get seen much. There's not many units in Grey Knights, so that's probably the bad place. But you know, if I was to take Eldar and just show up with a boatload of Guardians, and you know, no Wave Serpents and no Dark Reapers, you know, and just kind of do, you know, show some of those units that never get seen, and you know, maybe do that scenario based. Warlocks are never going to be seen again until somebody does something about that point count. But oh, don't get me started on like the most expensive basic.
You're taking 6 Warlocks now, aren't you?
Oh, well, yeah, in a 3,000 point list, maybe 2. Okay, that's an awesome comment. Thank you very much, the Pizarro. That's absolutely brilliant. I do like the idea of, because on the forum we do put up the lists, if I remember rightly, somewhere in here. I don't think it's in the project loss. I think it. Let's see if we can get over to this. I think when we do the rules and the FAQ, oh, we got army lists. So if we go into the Age of Sigmar army list, usually within a reasonable period, you will see some of these. The screen always goes to turn off in the middle of the show. It does it every time. I'm glad somebody's here to share my pain of what's involved in doing this show. You will see, look, for instance, there's the Stormcast Eternals versus Gutbusters. So if you go onto there, you'll see the list. We certainly could add that additional information about how you could build that. Because at the moment, it's just... there's a spoiler on that. Thanks, Carmen, for the spoiler. So yeah, we could get the lists up. We could also get what boxes are involved in buying it, and maybe put some links through to the Games Workshop website or whatever like that. That's a brilliant idea. I really like that. Oh, right. Let's see if the chat's calmed down after the band hammering. I don't know whether it has. Right, okay then. Coleman, enough to get a game at least. Can't I just sprinkle my monitor and give you spots? Pass? I don't know what that means. Coleman, you're normally so well behaved, so I can only assume that's something that's something nice. Ralph Hummel says at WargamerOnline, Luke. I don't know. Luke, did you swear?
Did I?
I don't know. Did you?
I don't know.
I don't think so. We've got to keep it family friendly. Unless that could be Reaper telling Coleman to keep it family friendly. Luke can't play anything else but filth. There you go. That's from Aaron. Aaron Walker. Do you know Aaron, or is he just? Yeah. Oh yeah. So he actually knows you.
Yeah.
Because I think pretty much you don't need to know you long to know that you only play filth anyway. But thanks for that, Aaron. That's cool, man.
Only fluffy armies.
Only fluffy armies, like Sam's fluffy armies. Yeah.
They've all got a fluff around their models as well.
Yeah. Oh, Luke can't play it. With his luck with a dice, no wonder. You're getting some flag tonight, Luke. That's a surprise. I don't know why you deserve that. Reaper says you should do a war tour, go around UK to cities and host battles. You know what? I did actually think we could create a battle van, which would just be like a large, like those removal vans. You get 6x4 tables set up in the back, just tour the country on a tour of the UK battle van in the battle van. It was paint, says Coleman. Thank goodness, Coleman. Thank you very much. That's good to know. Ralph is doing reminding everyone to like and subscribe. Luke said the name of the band. Oh, I don't know. Maybe not.
Oh, is it a weird name?
Oh, I see what I mean. Yeah, I'll have to explain it to you later, Luke.
Right.
You're way too innocent to understand that. Right, okay, what time are we at? We're at 10 o'clock. It's been a random old show. Like I say, I wanted to just really talk through what we're trying to do with the battle reports. Hopefully we're going in the right direction. Hopefully you people are enjoying them. There's going to be lots more to come. I'm certainly much happier with the technology. So technically, I'm happy with them. And the good news is now we're happy with the technology, bar a few tweaks. We're happy with the technology. Means we can focus a little bit more now on the content, I think. And that's the thing is, making sure we're getting a good spread of armies on there, making sure we're playing the different spread of games. Because, I want to go through, each one of the scenarios. So the next 5 battle reports for 40k needs to be a different scenario every time, so people can see the different scenarios. Even that crazy one with the weird old layout. Oh no, that's Age of Sigmar with the crazy layout. Have you seen that one with a staggered, tiered layout?
Yeah.
Let's go through the scenarios so people see the different scenarios being played out. Let's go through the armies so they see the armies being played out. Let's see some narrative games. Let's see some open play. Let's see some, filthy tournament. Kill each other, and that's the thing is now I'm happy with the technology. We can kind of turn our attention to the content and try and do more of that. So should all be good. Should be a bright, shiny future. So
because if you had the tactical objective cards, you could zoom into each of their cards to see what they're trying to go for.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. We could even if you just use the dice tray and stuff like that, or the zoom camera to show it. So. Right, okay then. I think that's it for tonight. Like and subscribe, do all of that. Pop along to WargamerOnline if you want to support us. You can do all the usual, there's donations and stuff like that, or just become a premium member. It's just $2.99 a month. You get to see all of this lovely content I've been talking about. And you get to see it first before anybody else, and some of it will remain exclusive as well to premium. So pop along and support us so you can see more and more. And it goes without saying, thank you very much. It goes without saying, and then I go on to say it. Thank you very much to everybody who is a premium member who is supporting us and getting us there as well. And also as well, a big thank you for a couple of donations that were on Sam's show as well. So thanks to both of you for getting involved and donating. That's really helped us move forward again with the channel. So I'm going to call it a night of that. Myself and Luke have got to get back to some hobby. Luke, you're working on some crazy Mechanicum tank conversion nonsense. When I say you're working on it, I'm looking at what you're
Phil's
doing.
Claimed it as his own.
No, Luke, don't do that. And taking it off you and keep cutting bits of foam board and passing it back to you later. So you're kind of working on it. That's the thing. I'm at the moment.
The idea's in my head.
Oh, I don't know. Where's Jack Stonehorn? I want to show Jack Stonehorn. Jack's been working on. You are going to see Beastclaw Raiders and Jack's Beastclaw Raiders. Check this. You know, can I get this? Yeah, look at this. He's doing a spanking job on this. I'm going to get him to post some more photos up on the Facebook group and on the Chronicles forum as well, because I think he's been doing a cracking job with this. I love the stone texture. He's kind of, can I get that on the camera? I think so. I love the stone texture he's achieved on that. So I'll get him to do some decent photos and get that up on the group as well, so you guys can check that out. Right, I'm calling it a night. Night, you may need to have a talk with Luke. Yeah, rude words on the channel, dude. Oh. Well, I don't, you're just so innocent. You're so innocent. You didn't realise that.
It wasn't a rude word.
All right, okay then. Oh, right. There are a few comments actually just before we go. So, Derpimus Maximus, certainly not family friendly. Robe says, really happy with the subscription. Thanks for all the great content. Well, thank you very much, man. Thank you for supporting us. You forgot to read my lore on the forum, says Reaper. Oh, well, tonight wasn't about the forum, but we will do another forum catch up, and then you will get your we'll go through it. Chaos Sponge says, doing a great job. Have been in and out of your tubers, and the first one I ever went prime on, so keep it up. Thank you. Cheers, man. Thanks a lot. A bunch of people saying thank you to them. Night all says, DJ the lucky one. Night, and you may need to have a talk with Luke. I will do. I'm going to say good night to that, and we'll see you all. Oh, focus is gone. That's because I was messing around with that close action, isn't it? Ooh. What is it? I don't know what to do with my arms. Hey, I've had a good time. Right. Good night, all. We'll see you again soon.
See you later.